Coming up on today's show, we're going to check out the latest Tennessee Titans trade rumors, the latest buzz on the streets of Nashville, leading up to the NFL trade deadline on November 1st, just a week away, maybe even less depending on when you're watching this video. But before we jump into today's show, we are so close to 5,000 subscribers here at the channel. We are vinegar strokes away, people. That is how close we are. So if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. And if you're already a sub member of the channel, type me down below in the comments section so I know where all the real Titans fans are at. Welcome into Titans Today by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here with a lot of trade buzz to get to, plus the new stadium pictures dropped. They are awesome. We're going to look at those. But first, some quick news to hit on here. Mike Garafolo tweeting out that the Titans are signing veteran wide receiver Chris Conley off the Chiefs practice squad. Sources say Conley started the season with the Texans, now on his third AFC team since week 1. When you sign someone off a practice squad, that means they go straight to your active roster, so you can look for a corresponding move. Depending on when you're watching this, one may have already been made, but the newest member of the Tennessee Titans, Chris Conley, who's had some good moments in his career, don't get me wrong. He had some high expectations early on in his career with the Jags, but here is his stats over the last 4 seasons. That 2019 year, 775 yards, 5 touchdowns, some promise right there, but the last 2 seasons, he just has not looked like a legitimate, maybe long-term NFL wide receiver. But hey, it is late October. You cannot expect to find big household names for cheap out there here. And honestly, the Titans offense, they need a spark, right? Their current group, I don't think is going to get the job done if they want to beat the Chiefs or the Bills. And at the end of the day, that's what you need to do in the AFC. You got to plan to beat those 2 teams. Because the Super Bowl, the AFC, is going to run through Buffalo or Kansas City. So John Lennon had a really good tweet I wanted to show you guys here. The Titans team stat rankings after 6 games, because they had a bye a little earlier on. Offense, 31st overall. Pass, 29th. Run, 20th. Points, 21st. Defense, 26th overall. Pass, 31st. I'm seeing some improvements, honestly. Run is awesome, thanks to Simmons and Danico Autry and company, 4th. Points tied for 17th. So with the Titans being 4-2 and in first place, that's fun and all, but don't settle, right? You remember that old commercial? Don't be a settler. Don't settle for mediocrity. Go for everything, right? Be a team that wants to bring a championship back to your city, and this team still has upgrades to make on the roster. So I like the move of bringing Chris Conley on, not because he's going to come here and revolutionize this passing game, but because Robinson and Vrabel are sending a message of, we're not getting it done, and we're not just going to stand by and watch the same things happen week after week here. All right, so earlier this week, we did a trade rumors video, some of the trade targets out there for the Titans. Here were the 5 guys we talked about. DJ Moore, Isaiah Wynn, Chase Claypool, Nelson Aguilar, William Jackson. Those are some of the older trade targets we have visited here on this channel. Producer Nick Roloff and I collabed. We got 4 brand new trade targets for you guys, starting with wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. Going under the same thread of bringing Chris Conley on, Conley's not going to come here and be a 1,000-yard receiver. But Jeudy, he's more likely to do that here. And Adam Schefter reported that the Broncos have received multiple trade inquiries about star defensive end Bradley Chubb and wide receivers Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler, sources told ESPN. Other teams believe that the Broncos will not sell low in any deal. So, Jeudy in his career has been underwhelming for a first-round pick. Just 1,700 yards and 5 touchdowns in basically 2 seasons, right? Because he missed about half of last year. He's played 33 games, 16 times 2, 17, 33. Basically 2 full years, 1,700 yards. That's really not what you're looking for out of a first-round pick. So could the Titans be in the mix to bring on Jerry Jeudy, who this season has 290 yards and 2 touchdowns? Listen, the Broncos are 2-5 right now, and they are sellers, right? This is not a team that is going to be making an AFC run for the postseason. And with Jeudy just not living up to the expectations of a first-round pick, maybe a change of scenery is what he needs. And for Denver, maybe bringing on some draft assets after they gave up their first and second this upcoming year for Russell Wilson is something that they would be interested in here. Now, the Titans wide receiver room is thin. Treylon Burks on IR. Robert Woods, not a wide receiver one. Nick Westrbook-Ikhine, I like him. I don't love him. So with that in mind, hypothetical trade idea, the Titans get Jerry Jeudy and the Broncos get a second-round pick. I know a second-round pick's always hard to part ways with, but if you can make Jeudy look like the guy he was in Tuscaloosa, if Vrabel believes, hey, they're not using him properly, and all it cost you is a second-round pick, I would consider it hard. I would think about it for a long time. But would you do this hypothetical trade? Y for yes or N for no? Be the GM. Let me know what you would do on this. Personally, I would do it. I think Jeudy is worth the shot, and it's not like that second-round pick is going to be a slam dunk, no doubt selection that's going to be a future Hall of Famer. The NFL is a crapshoot. The NFL draft is a crapshoot. I think it's worth the flyer for just a second-rounder on Jeudy. All right, next trade target is Andre Dillard, someone that has always been in the middle of NFL trade rumors for the Philadelphia Eagles, and with the Titans sorely missing Taylor Lewan, maybe they decide to go external to try and replace him after giving Nicholas Petit-Frere and some other guys on their roster a shot at that right tackle position. Now, when you look at this depth chart here for the Titans, it's thin, right? Dennis Daly, a trade they made earlier this season, probably didn't have expectations of him being thrusted into the starting lineup and playing some much more meaningful snaps than he is. So with that in mind, maybe make a second trade, bring on Andre Dillard. That's not a very good sign for a GM if they make one trade earlier in the season for a tackle, only to make another trade not too much later for another tackle, right? But at the same time, don't compound your mistakes. Made a mistake maybe in not assessing the situation earlier on for replacing Taylor Lewan. Don't just make another mistake by avoiding it altogether. Now, Dillard, unfortunately, has been on IR for the first handful of weeks this season because of an arm fracture he had before the season started. But last season, Pro Football Focus graded him very nicely, 69.6 might I add. And listen, to find that kind of grade for a backup tackle elsewhere, a former first-round pick, might be worth seeing what the asking price is on a guy like Andre Dillard. More trade targets to get to, and that the new stadium pictures dropping in just a second. But get this awesome t-shirt combo on sale. Go to chatsports.com/Titans combo. I'll put that link for you guys in the comments and the description of today's show. And you're going to get not one, but two shirts for the price of one on sale. There. Got the word vomit out. So make sure you check it out. Chatsports.com/Titans combo and get 2 Tennessee Titans t-shirts on sale. Third trade target to get to here is Elijah Moore. Now this one is a bit of a mixed bag here because Elijah Moore, if you haven't been following the situation, was frustrated with his role as Ian Rappaport reported and tweeted out and his usage on the team and asked for a trade. Now the team on October 20th said it has no plans at all to trade him. Former second rounder was targeted once in the win over the Packers, but the play was negated by a penalty. So that happened against Green Bay. The following week, the Jets go to Denver, play the Broncos, Elijah Moore inactive. Now, apparently they have made some sort of amends, and I'm not sure if Robert Saleh has made a bigger role for him in this offense, but I don't think you can just discount it and say, nope, everything's good, we swept it under the rug, and we made up and kissed. No, that's not how the NFL works. Now, Elijah Moore, honestly, I was a big fan of his coming out of Ole Miss last year. I remember A.J. Brown saying, Elijah Moore, that's going to be the NFL Rookie of the Year in 2021. Not to be, but he's had some great plays, 741 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's not like Denzel Mims' second-round bust. He's pretty good. He just is buried right now on a depth chart with Garrett Wilson and Corey Davis right above him. They love running the football. That might change now after Bryce Hall's injury. But this year, 16 receptions, 203 yards, and is yet to find the end zone. So what do you guys think? I've talked a lot. Now it's time for me to give the mic to you. Will the Titans trade for a wide receiver, right? Predict this one for me. 1 for yes or 2 for no. All right, fourth and final trade target on today's show. Not Bryce Hall, Bryce Hall, the corner from the New York Jets. The Jets love doing this. They have a Bryce Hall, they have a Bryce Hall, and they have 2 Michael Carters. I can never keep up with them. But I want to show you guys this piece from The Athletic where Zach Rosenblatt wrote about Bryce Hall, saying, Hall is the likeliest to actually be moved. He was a starter for all 17 games last season, but has now been a healthy scratch since week 1, mostly because the Jets are deep at cornerback. He had a tough preseason and gave up a touchdown in week 1, but he technically battled Sauce Gardner for a starting job in training camp and is good enough to play for someone. Last season, Hall had 16 pass deflections, 6th most in the NFL. He also forced 17 incompletions per PFF, the 2nd most of any cornerback. It is quite bizarre that the Jets can't find some role for him on their roster, but when you go out and draft Sauce Gardner in the top 5, that sends a clear message to your current secondary. And with the Titans being either A, injured, or B, bad in the secondary, I could definitely see Robinson picking up the phone and asking, so how much for this Bryce Hall guy? Because right now I've got a team that's 4-2, but my pass defense is what's holding my overall defense behind. I want to show you guys the pictures that leaked/dropped, I don't know if it's a leak, but we'll call it one, from the new stadium plans for the Tennessee Titans. So they're pretty dope, honestly. So first off, a couple factoids as we show these pictures on screen. The architect, the stadium planner, same company, person, whatever, that designed Allegiant Stadium for the Raiders and SoFi Stadium for the Rams, who allow the Chargers to use it a couple Sundays a week. But the stadium is really, really cool. They're going to demolish Nissan Stadium, and this stadium is not going to be too far away from that original site, but they want to move it a little bit closer to I-24. So it's not going to be in a whole different part of Nashville, right? It's not going to go out to Murfreesboro or anything like that. But I love this. They get to host a Super Bowl as soon as 2029. Plans to have this thing up and running for 2026, if I remember correctly. It's going to be awesome. They want to have sports gambling in there. They want to have every single bell and whistle you see with the new stadium, and then some more. It's going to be dope. So how excited are you for this new stadium? I personally love good old football weather, but I think that should apply more to teams like Chicago and Green Bay. Tennessee, there's no reason for them to be cold in November and December. No one thinks of them as like hard-nosed, cold weather city, tough to come into play. Why not just be comfortable? Why be hot in the summer and cold in the winter? No. Get an awesome stadium. I'm giving it a 10 in the comments. Let me know what you're giving it down below.